We sense that you're here.
And we're deeply glad that you came.
Hello and welcome back to Sculk Vibes.
A podcast where we talk about Minecraft and other related topics. My name's Dianzu, and I'm lurking here in the dark with the In Pain, I think.
Talon.
Talon, good.
What are you doing, Step Minecraft?
Talon, are you in?
What are you doing,
right now?
Step Minecraft?
Talon, I am very worried for you.
What are you doing, Step Minecraft? Yes. Today we're talking about being stuck in Minecraft and the horrifying implications of that.
Are the Mojang developers gods? Is there a god? Maybe we're all dead. Why do I have a gun? Why am I in the Walmart? Who is the police? Why am I here?
Why is my grandmother the same height as me in blocky form?
All these questions will be answered today.
This idea of this podcast episode was inspired by and brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you. Just kidding. Inspired by a video made by Magic Gum, who is a YouTuber of sorts. I don't watch their content. I'm sorry. But it was inspired by their video called, what was it called? If Everyone Was Trapped in Minecraft. It was a very light-hearted explanation of, or like idea that brought to the table in as to like, oh, what would actually happen if everybody were magically transported into the game of Minecraft, you know?
Right. But we don't like light-hearted things here, okay? The version of Angry Birds where the pigs die and their viscera is everywhere is significantly better than the base game. We can all agree on that, right? We like grim, dark, extreme realism.
Yes.
Indeed.
So basically, we want to set some world rules, sort of like we're running a campaign of D&D, right?
Yeah, basically.
But we want to establish what works and what doesn't, and we'll also list some examples as to what could happen and what couldn't happen in our scenario. Okay, so the entire population of Earth has been magically transported into the game of Minecraft. It functions just the same as the actual game. So, everyone that is an individual is a player. Including your baby cousin who is 3 and just learned how to talk is a player that is the same height as you and same functionality as everybody else.
Yes.
You are in hardcore, meaning you only have one life. So as soon as you're dead, you're dead. Otherwise, it would just be a painful existence of respawning and never being able to die and being like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This is all, let's assume it's all on a multiplayer server. This does not include lag or anything, so it's a lag-free environment, so our simulation, as to call it, would run perfectly. It's not like a real server, so it's just a world. It's just a world where everyone is in that world at the same time, right?
Exactly.
And it is the size of a normal Minecraft world. So, what is it, like 30 million fucking blocks
Actually,
out?
I'll research it. Hold on. Size of Minecraft world border.
Technically,
60 million.
I remember watching a video that explained that the size of a Minecraft world is larger than the surface size of the Earth. So there's a lot more space, but only by, like, I don't know. It was just, as far as I know, it was larger than like normal Earth surface.
Okay.
What's the world border at?
It apparently says it's 60 million. Apparently.
Okay, 60 million. I was close. So yeah, you have 60 million by 60 million area to fucking work with. And to make it more fun, I'm going to say that it's at the most updated version of the game. So probably once 1.18 comes out with new world height and better generation of mountains and caves, that'll be really fun.
And wardens.
And Warden. Yeah, sure. All the
And
Sculk
Wardens.
stuff. Because we're Sculk vibes, duh.
Indeed.
We gotta stick to a little. We gotta. I can't think.
We gotta have our blue
We gotta
gorilla
stick to
here,
our brand.
Right? Yes. We're not. What would
No.
be an alternate version of Sculk vibes? Candle flickers? I don't know.
Candle flicker. Amethyst dingers.
Amethyst stingers. I think it's significantly worse than candle flickers.
Now, when everybody starts and appears in the world, where do they appear? Do they appear at spawn in the same place? Is it random? In our scenario, we're going to make it so everybody is spread randomly across the area that is the Minecraft world. So 7.8 billion people, or whatever the number is. Maybe it's 8 million by now. 8 billion. I don't know.
It's somewhere in that ballpark.
Basically, so like 8 billion players are in that one Minecraft world and planted randomly across it. So you could have like a bunch of people spawn close to each other in one part of the area, or like one person that is the farthest away from anybody. They don't even know if there's anybody else, right?
God, that'd be horrific.
Yeah, I think we already explained that age doesn't matter, because whatever your age is, regardless, you have the same physical capabilities as a Minecraft player. Except mentally, that is the thing that kind of stays the same in our scenario.
Yeah.
Is like, if you're 5 years old, you're gonna still be 5 years old in the game of Minecraft.
God, how would babies be like?
I don't know. Here's another interesting thing. Reproduction.
Oh, God.
So let's theoretically say 2 people meet up in the game. What if they're able to have babies, right?
Yes, right. Yes.
It's physically
God,
impossible to have baby in Minecraft. So, let's say someone was pregnant and transported into the game of Minecraft.
Oh, God.
What would happen to the unborn baby? For brutal purposes and, again, horrifying implications, we're going to probably say that the baby is not its own player because it has not been born yet.
God.
And so it's a very traumatic thing that we're describing right now, but holy shit.
No, it's a Minecraft game for kids. Perfectly fine, nothing wrong.
So that means that the population is finite in our world of this. And it's gonna be weird because if people are randomly spread across the world evenly amongst themselves, how does chat work? Does a Minecraft chat exist? It would be interesting if Deontay, do you want to explain your idea for a chat system?
I was thinking of it being kind of like a proximity or region chat. So maybe a certain radius of chunks would have a shared chat. So thus, you don't have like a hellish, like 200 miles per hour chat,
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Or another cool idea would be like proximity voice chat. That would be interesting.
Definitely.
But it would probably make sense for our world to not have a chat at all. It is disabled. You cannot... Yeah, it is disabled. Maybe a proximity voice chat would make sense. So, if you're physically talking to another player that is, like, right in front of you, you can hear them. If they're, like, miles and miles and miles blocks away, then you can't hear them, obviously.
Yeah.
Just for simplicity's sake.
Fair.
But then that means if you are randomly spread across with the rest of the population of Earth, you might be an English-speaking dude that ends up with a Russian-speaking dude and a Chinese-speaking dude right all next to each other. You have to figure out what the fuck you're going to do from there. So there's going to be a language barrier. Yet there will be a need to survive. Yet you don't know that yet, because it's just the beginning of the world. And that is where we will start our scenario.
So, Day one, everyone just drops in. Everyone's just there. Bunch of confused people. Probably some poor lowlifes that's probably spawned in like a desert surrounded by lava lakes.
Something like that, yeah.
And some.
There will be people who are confused, scared, don't know what they're doing in their life, what they will do. They might automatically attack other people, or they might know what they're doing. So people who have played the game of Minecraft before have the highest advantage of survivability. Meaning that anybody who knows what they're doing will be probably either
Most
the
likely
people who are still alive or the most powerful people in the world, because they know what they're doing, especially like veterans of the game. But for those who don't know, there are either smart and intelligent people, maybe the younger ones who know what, like, get used to it a little bit, and they're like, oh, so where do I start? Are there rocks, sticks, maybe? Do I have to break the tree branches to get sticks? Get started with stuff? Those people will probably have they'll have some sort of survivability.
Right.
But then there's going to be people like the elderly or the young folks who don't know. The best way I can describe them is like someone who has autism. Like there's an entire spectrum of people with autism, and on both sides, it's either there are, for example, the people who are physically unable to do anything. Oh, here's another great point to point out. Anybody who has any like physical disabilities would probably be reprimanded and have their limbs back, or like be able to move around and stuff.
They
maybe not speak. They might still have their like speech disabilities.
Yeah, like mute and stuff.
Yeah, something like that. But
physical disabilities are basically non-existent. Everyone has legs in Minecraft.
Yes, exactly. But there might be like someone maybe is physically capable, but then mentally they are the age of 5, you know, even though they're like 22 or something. And then on the other hand, you have people who are physically unable to do anything, but they're so intelligent and like they know what they're doing in their own minds. Like that's the other side. And so those people might have they might have more of a freedom from that.
Right.
And so that's kind of what's going to happen with the young people and the older people, as well as those people who are autistic, is they will all be able to have the physical abilities of a player, but then mentally they might be wandering around not knowing what to do. And so then comes in the first night. One thing that I do like about Magic Gum's video is that he brought up the point that as soon as there is an external threat that isn't ourselves, everybody gets into survival mode and starts working together. At least those who are near each other.
Right.
Everybody who doesn't know what they're doing will probably die. So a good amount of the population, this is like mass extinction level, will probably die from monsters and the first night.
The deaths will spike and then slowly climb down.
Exactly. Everybody at this point is in survival mode, and so they're trying to take care of themselves and there's the others that are around them. And once the people who have established themselves, that know what they're doing in the game, and let's say the extinction part has ended. Now people are starting to get used to what they're dealing with, and they're starting to build up from the ground physically. Now are when the groups and people start forming. So what does that imply for the language barriers? For example, what happens with politics and
Yeah.
religion and like cultures, what cultures will start forming. Magic Gum in his video, he also mentioned that like, oh, there will be hunters and farmers and fighters and whatnot.
Yeah, kind of like specialization. In every
Specialization.
civilization. I feel like specialization wouldn't be like, I don't know, super specialized. There'd of course be people who I'd say there'd be two groups: people who work in civilization and then people who work out of civilization. A builder can farm because it's not like it needs like a super duper physical skill.
Exactly.
And
Everybody
farmers can probably build.
Everybody is good at what they do, but then if everybody's contributing, everybody needs to be flexible as to what they can help with.
Right. Then there'd probably be like outside workers, people who probably, gather resources from beyond civilization. Let me think. Maybe possibly explorers? I feel like exploring would be pretty early.
Explorers would be very key and vital to that stuff. Maybe there's people who are trying to figure out what the game is about. So lore-seeking people, but like actually trying to figure out what the hell this world is about if they don't know what the game is. At least those people who have not asked the people who know about the game,
Right.
And so there will probably be new religions based off of like what is physically happening in the world, like maybe some gods of Square, or like maybe players start worshiping villagers for fuck's sake. Like, we don't know.
Church of the Holy Cactus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, anything could go at this point.
Right.
But I wanna go back a little bit to some world building stuff, because there are some. This is like what could casually happen if we didn't imply some other rules. One of those being, what about the Mojang team?
Yeah, like, would they have god powers? Like, could they create new updates in game, just like release horrors upon mankind?
Exactly. Are they just normal people? If they're normal people, how would they go about this? They would probably, I don't know, like they would have knowledge about things of the game that other people wouldn't have.
Yeah, things probably most of like the expert players didn't even know about.
Otherwise, if they did have god powers, what would they do with those? Would they update the game? Would they change anything? As soon as civilization starts forming with all these different groups of people and like starts becoming a little bit more coherent over time, and let's say the Mojang people who are still alive have not died yet because they probably know what they're doing.
Yeah.
What responsibility would they have? Would they would they form? Would they join together? Would they come and like it would get really political real quick as to like what power and what they would choose to do with that power they have, basically. And so they would probably make executive decisions to maybe like make the world as accurate to real life as possible, so there can be some sort of normalization. So maybe they remove monsters entirely, something like that, or they add crazy shit like phones again, or cars so people can drive around. Basically things that would not apply to the vanilla rule. And you know how we said reproduction's kind of screwed?
Alright.
What if they re-added reproduction? What do
you mean re-added? Talon, what do you mean re-added?
Oh, no. Add it for players specifically. My bad. What would happen? Would the babies of those people have human minds, or would they be digital code? Like another mob. Nothing that you could physically love. It would be some sort of Frankenstein shit.
Oh. That's the only sound I can describe this situation with.
There would definitely be some testing with certain individuals that would happen before they like change everything in the game for the world,
Maybe okay, hear me out. Mojang developers have god powers, but they cannot create new stuff. They can't like make new mobs on the spot. Instead, updates drop as if they were like happening like normal, right? For example, if for some reason they started in 1.16, then 1.17 would drop, and then 1.18 would drop.
So, to make this a little bit more, for people to understand this a little bit more of what Deonce is trying to say, everybody is a normal player, so including Mojang developers, they don't have their god powers. But for some strange reason, the game has continued to update. So even though 1.18 is out, 1.19 comes out too, and the world updates as well. Would new chunks change? What if all the chunks were loaded by the 7.8 billion? What would happen then? I don't know. Maybe the world expands slowly a little bit. Like, maybe it's an infinite world, so anytime you go outwards, you find new stuff once a new update drops.
Right.
It would be a little bit more peaceful of a scenario, because then you wouldn't be fighting for resources necessarily, because you could just go out and expand. To make it a little bit more realistic, if any of you listeners or people who are watching the video have heard about like this Netflix kids show called The Hollow, it's about these kids who are put in a video game. They have lost their memory and they realize that it is a game and they have to beat it and be the first team to beat it. And they realize it's a video game because they have powers and whatnot.
Right.
But the whole point of it is that it's stuck in the video game. But once they do win the game and they exit out of the game, some weird glitch happens, which is the whole point of Season 2. It follows the glitch part of it. The real them that remember that it's a game, they're back in their real life world, they're doing their real life things. But the game accidentally creates a copy of their minds. So there are two individuals of the same person. One that is the real life them that are just fine, and then the game copied the mind of that person, and there's another version of that person that is physically, that does not have a body. They live in the video game. What if that happened with our scenario too? That would be wacky. How would the people in the game communicate with the people out of the game? Would that even be possible? Probably not.
Imagine just like slamming just a bunch of random numbers and periods into your IP address thing for like it's like a direct contact, and you just land in the server and you find yourself. You
find yourself in that server.
Oh,
that would be wacky. But it would also imply that the continuation of the game would happen too. So the updates would continue, which is why we were explaining that. Ooh, I just had a thought.
Yes?
It's been years. 50 years have gone by. Minecraft has been around for such a long time, but it's time for the servers to shut down, the game to shut down. What would happen? Would the world end?
Oh, God, what
in that scenario?
Would there just be an end of the age of discovery or something? Where, like, no more new content and stuff?
Exactly. But I'm saying, like, because servers shut down, that world shuts down. Everybody in that world dies.
All the consciousness
that is saying that there's still
gone.
A lot of people alive by that point. Maybe the population has dwindled down to 1,000 players that have stuck together since the beginning. Full enchanted, whatever ore there is at
double netherite
in 50 years. Double netherite. Moonstone. I don't know.
Big rocks.
Maybe. Ooh.
The emerald armor.
Here's another sensitive subject.
Yes.
Maybe there will probably be a lot of people who don't want to live in that world that they have been brought into. So they will make the decision of choosing to put it nicely, leave the game.
Yeah.
But yeah. To move on, we're gonna say the hollow scenario. I don't know. Should that apply to our world?
Let's say just for the sake of optimism, the hollow scenario does apply, but like the outside world cannot contact Minecraft, and the Minecraft world cannot contact the outside world. As
Fair.
far as the outside,
That is fair. So updates continue to happen.
yeah.
Okay. What would happen with exploits?
Exploits. I think would they work or would they not? Because certain let's assume exploits related to the like lag and stuff would not apply, but regular exploits can still work. So TNT dupers and the like.
So then people like Raiseworks would probably be one of the most profound people of that world, because he is the most known person that has the most technical skill.
Right.
So
There'd be
both
a
categories. He's in both categories. There may be people who have extreme technical skill, but nobody really knows about them. But because Raiseworks has both of those things, he might be the most prolific person to control the environment. And so he and people he chooses to work with may be like running cities or empires or whatever they choose to do, figuring out what is happening with their situation. Maybe they're the people that are pioneering either inventions or trying to communicate with anything that is outside of the game, because they know they're in a game, but nothing happens. So they're the people who are like the seekers, I guess. That's what I would call them.
Redstone engineers?
The engineers. It's the seekers. Hacking would not be a thing. Mods would not be a thing. This is like a vanilla thing.
Basically.
I think we pretty much explained how our thing works.
Right.
Out of the 4 people who are still listening in our stage on Discord, I think we're going to invite a couple of you guys to come up with your own scenarios of what we have listed in our world. So, like, give us an example of some alliances or some groups, maybe the architecture that would come up, the cultures, what would happen with wealth, technology. This is your time to speak and to think. We'll give you like maybe 5 minutes to think as we talk a little bit more.
All right.
I want to go into wealth a little bit, actually, personally. So
how would that work, actually?
It is totally possible to destroy items and to keep them to an extent, like the Dragon Egg. Right. The people who the dragon would not matter at all. That world,
it'll last for like 30 minutes.
Exactly. The people who know what they're doing, like the speedrunners and whatnot.
Several speedrunners all just working in tandem.
Yeah. Those other dimensions would be like more places to explore, but more deadly. Other world. Basically, people wouldn't only... Like, they would start in the overworld, but some of them might migrate over towards the nether or
perhaps
the end.
Would overpopulation.
Maybe an end update happens, and then, I don't know, some crazy stuff might happen. Literal end people and nether people, like I could imagine them wearing like fungus clothes or whatnot, you know.
How would skins work, actually?
Skins. Oh yeah, that's a good point. I think based off of what gender's a very very complicated topic.
Let's just assume like it's just somehow automatically generated from like what they want the most, I guess. Like
so what they want
or their current
the most. So if you're a guy, you would be Steve. If you're a girl, you would be Alex. If you're neither, it would be 50-50.
I also imagine it could like generate its own skin, so people have like their own tailored skins. Maybe?
And for people who actually do have Minecraft accounts, they would be their Minecraft accounts.
Yeah, perhaps people could change.
So
skins as well.
Dianzu would be an actual computer head. I would be
Yes.
basically myself. I made my skin myself, but with my mask on. Would I be able to take my mask off? I don't know.
I mean, I imagine perhaps you could be able to somehow switch skins, perhaps.
Maybe you can physically toggle layers off, but
I could agree with that.
you can't take them off or obtain the things on you. That'd
Yeah,
be
you can't
weird.
like just like pull the computer head off. Maybe like it just fades away when you take it off.
You
I
can
imagine
take
just-
off your like outer layer, so you would just look weird. But
For like just for like the sake of the scenario, like maybe like people can make their own skins, so then cultures can develop. You know, perhaps certain cultures that do generate and like emerge have like their own styles and stuff with skin.
I feel like that would also happen a lot with like dyeable armor,
Yeah,
like dyeable leather armor. The fastest ground transportation would be horses. Then there would be elytra people. That's going to be interesting. People
Terrifying.
with riptide. Transportation is going to be such a wacky thing. Would there be
It will.
highways? Would it be a little bit like 2B2T?
I imagine there would be highways, although that the highways would probably be raided and or destroyed a lot.
Yeah. There'd probably be a lot of people. I think it would be close to 2B2T, but less homophobic.
Oh God.
Maybe it would be as homophobic. You don't know. Because
That's
again,
the secret,
everybody's either against each other or with each other. It's a weird thing. All right, I think we have given you some time to think. Who would like to talk first?
Who are we going to summon?
What if this is Axolati, our good friend, his
Yes.
scenario or his idea for what could happen in our scenario? What if there is a civilization called the Sky People? They build a skyblock city and the world height limit of the city right at the build limit. And there's floating upside down buildings with the peripherals of the city guarded by bowmen on the balconies. These people, I think those people would probably have elytra to their disposal and lots of firework and gunpowder
Yeah.
production. Sugarcane, like gunpowder and firework production.
I can't
Yeah.
imagine what aesthetic they'd have.
How many elytra? Well, I think our world is infinite. It's not finite.
Seemingly.
Our world is infinite, not finite. So the world can continuously update. So maybe there will probably be an infinite amount of elytra, but that depends if like the end updates. Maybe there's something else. You know?
I was thinking maybe like Art Deco. I love Art Deco, so maybe I have a bit of a partiality, but I don't know. Weird, since Art Deco's colors are all like as like you know, it's usually like black and gold for the stereotypical Art Deco colors. Maybe more like tan and gold. Hell, it would just suggest maybe like an angelic aesthetic with it.
One person said the Sky People would probably have white and gold and angelic type aesthetic. Yeah. All right. Lux's idea. Lux is Dianzu's friend.
Yes.
Previously mentioned in our last episode. They say, I have an idea. How much would our previous world history be valued over new Renaissance based upon Minecraft's world? Will we see people trying to remake old world buildings, or would we see a whole new trend? I think it'll be
Mixed,
a huge mixed bag. That is
Yeah.
if the people, because again, people are spread out. So if other people of their same culture, same religion, same language could meet up with others of their same kind, they would probably stick to those values. But I feel like they would be heavily molded into Minecraft's world, you know. So like they might actually be the forefathers of a new religion that is based off the old one, but because of Minecraft, it changed it, you know.
Man, imagine I'm trying to imagine like the new like architecture styles, since now you're not limited by gravity anymore, right? You can have all the insane sci-fi buildings that you would ever want, right?
Yeah.
No support,
Giant
no structure.
statues of things that you could always have. Oh, breaking bedrock, going to the void.
God,
Ooh.
that'd
That
be
is
some
if
like
the exploit stuff still is there.
that'd be some like moon landing type stuff for them.
Yeah. The void is like a whole nother thing. What's below the bedrock, people will go nuts over that. For those who do know, it's the void, but then
No,
maybe
there's gonna be
there's
like
some
a-
void religion.
Yeah, there's gonna be like anti-vaxxers, but for the void, like there's no void. It's
Yeah!
yeah. I'm trying to think what would be good. The
Void
nether!
deniers.
I don't even know. Yeah,
Void deniers.
the void opening never happened.
Void. The roof doesn't exist in the nether. What are you talking about?
It'll be like one of those things like what's it called, geocentrism, like where like the sun orbits around the Earth.
Yeah. Oh, the Earth, Minecraft's space. What if there's a space update? There's gonna
Oh.
Each update is going to bring a whole different reality shift to these cultures. I just realized.
Like, imagine, right? Each update is like a new era of like humanity. When an end update drops, it's gonna call like an end era, where like suddenly goods from the end are available to many more people, right? For example, I don't
Yeah.
know, chorus paper, right? So then, I don't know, maybe like enchantments, because now paper is much easier to get since now inefficient sugar cane has been cut out, right? So now you can get many more books, and then with many more books, you can make many more enchantment libraries, and with many more enchantment libraries, many more advanced weapons.
Yes,
And
a
if
lot of
there are new
innovation
weapons-
happens with war, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Oh god, battle wardens. Imagine you just saw this horrifying
Battle
thing just-
wardens, people. They steal the elder guardians and they weaponize them.
guardian cannons and stuff. Have you seen those?
No, I've not.
Basically, you like station a guardian in like a little chamber that is opened, and then it just basically shoots lasers at players.
Oh my god. Oh, I'm liking this idea so much. What the fuck?
People would like drop one battle warden could take out like an army of like 30 people, and it'd just be horrific, the aftermath.
Oh my god.
There'd be like cryptids and stuff, right? Characters like Herobrine would be like cryptids in games, since no one has creative mode or like a
The
commands and stuff, right?
Farlands.
Yeah, Farlands, like an old legend from like the
Oh, I'm
back
loving
then.
this podcast episode so much. What a good episode. Oh my god.
Indeed. Man, like cryptids and stuff would emerge. Like,
What about those people whose skins are based on mobs? Would people... Okay, you said you want people to be able to change their skins, right?
yeah.
So
then, like,
people whose skins are based off mob. People whose skins have not changed since they have spawned. There will probably be some sort of weird connection with that. I don't know.
people
How
would
would
like,
they change their skins? Would they just select a pixel and they change it to what they're thinking?
I don't know. It would be something like where they just like think up what they want to be, and there's just like some X-Men.
I feel like it's like you have to touch the pixel on your body that you want to change, or like mental 3D image of yourself, and whatever you pick, like whatever you're thinking, that's the color I want. You touch it, and then boom, it becomes that color. I don't know. It's yeah. Maybe that would be like a whole other art form. Modern day Minecraft body painting.
basically. Would there be like kind of like fantasy races and stuff, right? Where people alter their Minecraft skins to look like specific, like I don't know, like species. There'd be like people who have like a detail on their skin that resembles like pointed ears, so they'd be like elves. People who are like a green skin and call themselves orcs and stuff.
Something like that, yeah.
Man.
Tactically builds another portal and sends you to hell. Oh my god.
The Nether and folklore, because here's the thing, right? Like, would people see Nether as hell? But then it's easily accessible, so it would lose a lot of its mystique and stuff, right?
Maybe.
Would piglins and villagers be seen as on par with humans, or just as creatures?
Piglins and villagers would not have their AI would be the same, so they would not have the complexity of, or they would not have the mental complexity of people. They would just be seen as animals, things to use
God.
that people nowadays normally already see mobs. Like, oh, we see a piglin, we're like, oh, let's put that piglin in a hole and fucking give it gold so it gives us shit. Farm it. It doesn't have a mind of its own. We're going to fucking use it like a tool.
Right.
Essentially. Piglin rights activists.
Imagine like just pouring gold into a hole, just a big man standing. Just trying to imagine that imagery.
Oh my god. Wars wouldn't be fought with people. Imagine a giant industrial complex that is a combined pumpkin and iron farm that constantly produces iron golems.
Oh god, war machines and stuff like TNT bombers. Imagine this right. You know how TNT bombers don't really stop; they just keep on going until they run into stuff. What if one just goes rogue? Like, what would the implications or like results of that be?
It would keep going until someone breaks it.
It'd
be like, oh yeah, those are relics of the past. For like a war happens, one goes off in the distance, but then an explorer finds it in an unloaded chunk as it's continuing to go. How would
no. Here's the thing: it would freeze up in the unloaded chunks, right? So then, when an explorer finds it, they basically have restarted a death machine.
Something. Oh my god! What the fuck? Chunks are. Whoa! Chunks are a whole nother thing. Render distance, chunks. How far would you be able to see?
Let's assume 12 the hell? Let's assume like 12 since that's the server default, it seems. Maybe 16 if we want to be fancy about it. Oh, God.
No, I think it should be the max render distance that is physically possible in the game, but like it doesn't cause any performance issues, obviously.
All right. Man, imagine this, right? A technology degrades, and like eventually the most powerful thing you can get is like a simple TNT missile and simple duper, right? And the explorer just discovers an insanely massive one from like back when like Mumbo Jumbo and that Rayworks guy was still alive. Oh my god.
That people are immortal technically in the game because they don't die from age.
No, like let's say like I don't know, an anvil spell on them.
Yeah, if they do not die from natural causes. That's another thing. Oh, the Earth is cubed. No, the Earth is flat.
Oh, no. People are gonna like stick to the banners because like
would they call the Minecraft world Earth or would they call it Minecraft?
I'd call it, I don't know, for the sake of nostalgia, Minecraft, yeah. Oh, I remember when they call it Minecraft, yeah.
Oh my god. We could talk about this for hours. I think we're going to leave it up for the listeners to continue this discussion in the comments.
Yes. Maybe in the Discords.
Or we could... If you want to join my Discord, people who are listening to the podcast, and if you made it this far... join my Discord. I might make a Discord channel for our talk of this episode, our world. Continue world building. I think that's a great idea. Anyways, the candles are starting to dim, and the sound of footsteps are near, meaning it's time for us to go.
Before we do, don't forget that you're able to check out the rest of our content in our channels.
Thanks for listening, guys. Again, if you want to continue the conversation, feel free to comment down below or join my Discord, and I'll make a Discord channel if we get a lot of new members. That is if. I might make the channel regardless, but have a good one, guys. See you later.
This is your host, Deonsu. Out.